Watch closely. Somewhere in this story is the one detail that ends 30 years of lying. See if you catch it before he does. A man sits down to dinner with one of the richest people in Miami. He's dressed like royalty, because as far as everyone at that table knows, he is royalty, a Saudi prince, in town to buy nearly $500 million of one of the most famous hotels in America. He orders ham. If you don't know why that matters, you're about to understand exactly why it just ended him. His real name is José Moreno. He's from Colombia. He has been arrested 11 times 11 for pretending to be a prince, and every single time, he went right back to doing it. Bankers believed him. Hotel owners believed him. A billionaire almost wired him $440 million. One plate of pork undid all of it. This is the Bust Files. Here's the question worth sitting with before we go any further. How does a man get arrested 11 times for the exact same lie and still find someone new to believe him? Start at the beginning. Not a palace, an orphanage. Anthony Gignac was born José Moreno in Colombia, orphaned young alongside his little brother, Daniel. An American family adopted him. By his late teens, he had already picked a new name and started building someone else to be. In 1987, in California, he legally changes his name for the first time. In 1991, in Beverly Hills, he's living at the Regent Beverly Wilshire, running up $10,000 in room service and limousines, telling staff his royal family will settle the bill. They don't. He's arrested. The Los Angeles Times runs the story and hands him a nickname that will follow him for the rest of his life: the Prince of Fraud. Here's what should stop you cold. That wasn't his last arrest for this. It wasn't even close. It was his first of 11. And by the time he was done, he'd figured out the exact formula for making rich, careful people stop asking questions. That formula is next. So how do you make sophisticated adults, bankers, developers, hotel owners believe you're royalty from one of the wealthiest families on earth? You don't invent a name, you steal one that already exists. His first alias, Prince Adnan Khashoggi, lifted directly from a real famous Saudi arms dealer. Google it, and something real comes back. That's the whole trick. Later, he upgrades to Prince Khalid bin Al Saud, vague enough that nobody can disprove it, specific enough that it sounds real. The actual Saudi royal family has thousands of members. Good luck verifying one. Then the performance. Diamond rings, a Cartier bracelet, a Rolex, traditional dress at exactly the right moments, a security detail that never left his side. Staff paid enough to call him Your Highness and mean it. None of that proves anything. That was the entire point. Because here's the uncomfortable truth this scheme was built on. Past a certain amount of visible wealth, nobody wants to be the one who asks the insulting question. So for 30 years, nobody did. Here's how a con with 11 prior arrests keeps landing bigger victims instead of running out of road. The money moved in a loop, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Victim 1 hands over a bridge loan just until the royal family's funds clear, he promises. That money buys the Ferrari. The Ferrari convinces Victim 2 he's real. Victim 2's money funds the next lifestyle flex. That flex convinces Victim 3. Nobody's money ever went into an investment. It went into proving the lie to the next person in line. The Ferrari California paid for with someone else's stolen money. The diplomatic plates on it? Bought on eBay by one of his own associates. Nobody at a valet stand runs a plate against a federal registry. The Fisher Island penthouse, one of the richest zip codes in America. Past neighbors including Oprah Winfrey, he told people he owned the entire building. 54 units. He owned none of it. He was a tenant. Every piece of the illusion was rented, borrowed, or bought with stolen money built for exactly one purpose: convincing the next investor to hand over theirs. Total damage, by the time prosecutors added it up, over $8 million. By the mid-2010s, he wasn't hiding the money, he was posting it. Rolls-Royces, yachts, private jets, documented in real time. Diamonds stacked on both wrists. And Foxy, his chihuahua, who traveled in a Louis Vuitton carrier and had a better travel schedule than most humans will ever have. Here's the detail that should genuinely unsettle you. None of this was subtle. It was public, searchable, posted by a man who had already been arrested 11 times for exactly this scheme, using exactly this kind of proof. The lifestyle wasn't a side effect of the fraud. It was the advertisement. Every photo was bait for whoever hadn't done their homework yet. In 2017, Prince Khalid goes after his biggest target yet, a $440 million stake in the Fontainebleau, the Miami Beach hotel where Sinatra performed, where James Bond was filmed. Not some regional building, a landmark. Its owner is Jeffrey Soffer, a real billionaire, with real due diligence teams and real reasons to be careful about who gets close to his flagship property. Gignac performs flawlessly. Soffer's team engages. The negotiations go on for weeks, treated as completely legitimate. Everything that made this man successful for 3 decades, the confidence, the refusal to break character, the sheer nerve of it, is about to collide with one detail he cannot perform his way around. He claims to be a devout Muslim member of the Saudi royal family. And he's about to order. Here's the moment, the one we told you to watch for. During negotiations, Gignac orders pork, ham, bacon, food that's explicitly forbidden under Islamic law, food a genuine member of the Saudi royal family does not touch publicly without real consequences. Soffer notices, says nothing at the table, doesn't need to make a scene. He makes a phone call instead. Private investigators start pulling threads, and none of them hold. The diplomatic plates don't check out. The Fisher Island ownership doesn't check out. The name doesn't check out. Everything they find goes straight to the FBI. On the 19th of November 2017, Gignac flies into JFK from London on a passport that belongs to someone else entirely. Federal agents are waiting on the other side of customs. 30 years, 11 arrests, $8 million, undone by one plate of ham. A real prince would never. Once the FBI has him, this moves fast and it goes wider than one man. March 2019, Gignac pleads guilty to wire fraud, conspiracy to commit wire fraud, aggravated identity theft, and impersonating a foreign diplomat. Prosecutors call him the leader of a sophisticated, multi-person, international fraud scheme, meaning this wasn't a one-man show. Associates sourced the fake plates. Associates helped maintain the illusion. Associates helped move the money. At sentencing, Judge Cecilia Altanaga doesn't soften it. She calls him a mastermind who had everyone around him completely convinced. Gignac addresses the court directly. His words, "The entire blame of this entire operation is on me, and I accept that." Then he adds that other people, in his opinion, should have been charged too. June 2019. 18 years and 8 months in February. Here's the real question this case leaves behind, and it's not the one you'd expect. It's not, how did he get away with it? It's, how did he get away with it 11 times? Every single institution that eventually caught him, Beverly Hills in 1991, hotel after hotel through the 90s, Jeffrey Soffer's team in 2017 caught him the exact same way. Someone, eventually, checked. A bill went unpaid. A detail didn't line up. Somebody made a phone call instead of assuming the obvious story was the true one. The unsettling part isn't that it eventually worked, it's how much money moved and how many years passed before anyone bothered to check even once per decade. His entire method relied on one reliable weakness. Past a certain level of apparent wealth, people stop verifying and start assuming. Nobody wants to be the person who insults a prince by asking him to prove he's a prince. Gignac understood that better than any of his victims did. He built 30 years on it. He's serving his sentence now. Restitution for his victims is still ongoing. The money always leaves a trail. Sometimes that trail runs in a loop for 30 years, funded entirely by the last person foolish enough to write the check, until somebody, finally, orders the wrong thing off a menu. Follow the bust files, because right now, someone else is betting you're too polite to ask the obvious question. 11 arrests, 30 years, $8 million. 1 plate of ham. Subscribe. New case file every week. The Bust Files. The money always leaves a trail. We just follow